छाया आसमां में, देखो झूमता गगन, हे छाया आसमां में, देखो झूमता गगन, जमीन आसमां झुक गया है, झूमता Hello, hello, hello. Let me get I just did my sage. Let me do my cedar. Welcome, welcome everyone. Give me 1 second here. Gonna set the tone. Looks like we'll maybe have a quiet, slow night. We'll see if we got people. We're gonna get to doing the readings and get some work done and try to help people out. I mean, man, right? Big exhale, and it's like, holy crap, okay. Let's just focus on what we can do something with. That's what I'm telling myself. Focus on things I can do something about, damn it. Where I can put my energy. Can you guys hear me? Let me just double check some stuff here. Where the hell are you guys in this chat? Let me find this chat thing. It's not rocket science, but let's see if I can go like that. Yeah, that works. Hello, hello. Okay, we got... All right, let me make sure. You're not going to believe what I did earlier. I don't believe what I did earlier. I was messing with the cats. You know how the cats are always in here. And I was working, and I was lighting a candle before a reading, because I was, I do the same thing. Clear the space, bring in the good energy, it's all the same thing. So I need a candle for that, right? And so I'm doing that, and one of the cats was doing something, was distracting me, whatever the heck. I had to focus on them. And so I had this little candle right here that I was lighting. And normally if the girls hear like a match, they're like, oh shit, she's lighting a candle. That means it's sage. And then they'll like skedaddle. They're out of the room. They'll take off. So I was doing that, just lighting it to do that, anyway. So I'm lighting the damn thing. And all of a sudden in my ear, I can hear the match. Like, how you can hear the fire traveling up the stick, the piece of wood, right? But I mean, it was like 10 times louder than normal. Yeah, that's when I realized my hair was on fire. My hair was on fire. I was very lucky, though. I don't know how the hell it didn't get worse. But I just singed, which is fine. There's, some shit here that needs to be cut off anyway. But afterwards, I was like, holy shit, that could have been like really bad. But I swear I thought it was the damn match. And I was like, what the hell? That must have been like a supersonic freaking match. And then because I didn't see, it wasn't like I see flame. There was nothing. It was just the sound. And I must have saw something, because right away I was like, oh, wait, shit. Oh, hell no. Didn't even think, nothing. The whole stop, drop, and roll shit. Like, I was busy beating the shit out of myself. But thankfully, and I think what really saved me was because I had taken a break from doing some readings earlier. And so I had jumped in the shower, gotten out, and it's been so dry. And my hair is dry anyway, just naturally really freaking dry. And so I had put some stuff in my hair, thank God, that had like some shea butter in it and stuff. Some stuff that has like some oil. And I think that's what saved my ass. I think that's what kind of stopped it from going up my yeah, I mean, I could have anyway, just crazy. I'm fortunate. I'm blessed. And I kept thinking, "Ooh, thank you, Jupiter. Thank you, Neptune. Holy shit. Thank you for the protection." And that's kind of like part of the whole focus right now, I think, is Jupiter in Cancer and the benevolent Jupiter in Cancer, especially when the news and all the other I'm literally 30 minutes south of the city, south of Chicago. And so it's just really crazy. Not the city itself, but just in general with the I guess we're enemies all of a sudden of the state. It's like, okay. It's a really weird ass time. It's a really weird ass time. Okay, so let me say hello. Let me stop rambling. Let's see what's going on. We got work to do, I'm sure. We're here at 9 o'clock. I'm gonna end the show at 11. I'm trying to do 9 to 11 to save my eyes, reading charts and shit. It just yeah, the little stuff. I notice when I step away from the when I step away from it, my eyes, yeah, I can totally tell, and it's like yes. So I am focused on getting some readings done so that I can get to everybody. All right, Love Bug is here. Love Bug is number one. Love Bug, how the heck are you? Love Bug, I'm sorry. Uh, I'm not really sure who you are, but that's totally fine. If you're here for the first time, not a problem. Let me know. But if you go by a different name, especially let me know because I don't have time to be searching for names, and I ain't even gonna. Yeah, I'll just be going on to the next person. So let me know in advance. Stacy, the blue jacket, she will not be here tonight. I know that for certain. If she does come by, it's later on. Yeah, Donna, hey, what's going on? I see you. Yeah, we'll look at hubby's chart for sure. So love bug number one, Donna number two. I'm giving you numbers. Remember your numbers. When I call them numbers, you better be ready. I don't mean to be all, I'm just saying, I don't know if we're going to be slow, busy, what. If it's slow, that's okay. Yeah. But, so, yep, those are your numbers. Let me keep going. Let me see if there's any other name here. If not, we'll just, okay, we got AUDI, Audi. First time joining. All right, you're number 3. If I don't have your birth digits, well, first of all, welcome. All are welcome. If I don't have your birth time, birth date, birth city, birth state, you need to get those to me. That's what we do here. I pull up the astrology chart and I read your chart. So Audi number 3, Shell. You're lucky. Yeah, right? Right? Yeah. Shell, you're number 4. Oh, so Love Bug is Francesca. I should have known that. Yeah. Yeah. I have hubby's chart. Yes, I do. I have it in the system. So we'll definitely take a look at that for sure. All right, so let's get to work. Love Bug, Francesca. Okay. All right, so as usual, we're going through the charts. Some people are generous and giving, and they send a gift to the channel. You can send gifts, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. Sorry, I'm looking at this candle. It's doing some weird shit. PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. What else do I take? I don't know. But either way, and then I spend more time on those charts. If people are generous and give, or if people give in general, you take care of the channel takes care of you. And let's get a move on here. So let's get to the Francesca, which is Love Bug. So with that name, Francesca, I'm assuming. All right, let's get Francesca's name up in here. That way. Oh, thank you for asking, Love Bug. A lot has happened in the last month with my mom, actually. And I don't think I've shared any of it because a lot of the major shit happened so fast. My mom no longer lives where she was living. So Love Bug, you're up first. Put your question in. Yep. Um, she's actually we've got her moved to a different place, and so far it's been really good for her. And she's had only positive things to say. So I'm just like, wow. So hopefully this is like, I mean, I think it's a good thing. I really do. She has more help. She basically has more help, which is what she knows she's been needing more help for the last year. And she's been saying that. So yeah, you can send me an email, Shell. I see your question. How do I send in the info? You can, some people throw their digits right in the chat, but some people aren't comfortable with that. The email, I always forget to do this. Here's my email. I'm going to try not to shake the damn thing too much. Yeah. Okay, so let me put that there. Let me pin it for you for somebody. Yeah, there's my email. Well, Audi's like, I don't mess around. I am done. So Lovebug's question, I'm wondering what's coming in for love, of course. Nothing that I had readings here. Nothing is coming to fruition. I don't understand. Well, I think I've been taking a peek at your chart for love for a long time, and it's always been the same. It's always there in the background. It's always been there in the background. There's a lot of deep wounds in Scorpio, deep wounds over deep bonds without even looking, because I've done your chart so many times. And that doesn't go away until the work is done. That's just the reality of it. And so that, remember, Saturn is there. Saturn delays and stops and slow things down and takes decades, sometimes decades, not just a week or, it's a long time. Saturn rules time, a long ass time. So it's kind of, yeah, it makes sense. What you're saying makes sense to me, because every time I've looked at your chart, that energy always jumped forward. Your Saturn in your 8th house always popped up, was always prominent. A delay in deep bonds. Okay, so let me find your chart real quick and we'll look at it again, because that's all I'm seeing in my brain is Saturn. Oh, we got the air on right now and I'm freaking cold. Okay. All right. Let me see. Let's see what we got. Where did her chart go? All right, let me get it on the screen. Okay, so we're going to get that question off because we know what your question is. Yeah, and Lovebug, just so you know, like I've been telling you this from the get-go. This has always been the thing from the get-go. There it is right there. Your Saturn in Taurus at 3 degrees. So it's about how you think and talk and relate and communicate. Like that's all part of that with your values, okay? With your desires. That is all part of it, because it's Saturn, and the Saturn energy is Saturn is long-term commitment energy. Okay? And so this is with your values, with your desires, and also with deeply bonded relationships and shared values, shared bonds, shared love. That's that Saturn energy. Now I know you have Libra down in the 2nd house, and you've got Venus and Scorpio there, and sometimes our desire is stronger than our willingness to do the necessary work. The Saturn in the 8th is healings. Got to change and transform and heal the past and the wounds and the trauma. And this Saturn that's there, I think you had you made a comment about when will Saturn move. I think I saw that real quick. because I'm on a different screen now, but this is your Saturn. This does not move. You were born with this Saturn. It will not go anywhere. Okay. So, with that said, what will happen is Pluto's going to be making a move. Not right at this moment, because, well, it is moving, but it's moving backwards. But Pluto can change and transform this Saturn for you. You see what I'm saying? You're waiting for other planets and other areas of the chart to align, to trine, or to square, or to make something or someone or you uncomfortable, where we automatically will make that. They nudge us. They nudge us to make these changes. So this Pluto down here in your 5th house of romance, right? Yeah, excitement, different, new, very unique. Yeah, you got Pluto down here at 1. And see, this Pluto being at 1 degrees is going to be close to the Saturn at 3. But because it's a Pluto retrograding, you're waiting until 2026. Now, this Pluto had already kind of nudged your Saturn once before. Well, Pluto will be back again. That's why it's doing a retrograde. Plus it's a retrograde Saturn. So the Pluto is all about changing and transformations. Okay. It's all about healing. And Pluto rules that house that this Saturn is sitting in for you. And you have Chiron going through your 8th house. You see this Chiron, the wounds of my body, wounds about my appearance. It's this 8th house. It's this 8th house energy. And let me see what else you got down here. 25 and fire. Okay, so, all right, galactic center. Okay, so it's a great need for you. Yeah, it's an emotional need too. There's a bit of, because it trines your 4th house, and I have a lot in the chart, so there's an emotional need that's connected to family and history and the past. But because Sagi's there, that's strong with freedom, right? Like that independent energy. Saggy has a hard time. I know some Saggies might get pissed by this, but Saggy energy in general is about that constant seeking and searching. And although it can get along really well with people and it can do a good job in creating relationships, there's something about the Saggy energy that's very loner-like. You follow? And I don't mean like cast out from society type of loner, but because it's always on that freaking journey, right? It's always on that journey. It's a solo journey to some degree. Even though it might be with a lot of other people, there's still something about it that's kind of private. And because it's always got this inner thing that it's searching and seeking for the truth. Like there's never going to be enough searching and seeking. Okay. And this Chiron in your 8th house, the Chiron in the 8th, brings up some of the hurts and the wounds. And it probably emphasizes the lack of maybe some of the things you're seeking, right? Because it's trining the galactic center that's down in your 4th house. You also have some other objects there, but the galactic center's there. And the galactic center is a black hole. Now, we all have this in our chart, but a black hole is a giant Hoover in the sky. It sucks in whatever is around it. So it's like a need because it's in the 4th house. It's an emotional need for freedom, right? And this constant seeking and searching. And, well, it's lighting up your 8th house of deep bonds. Some say that 8th house isn't just deep bonds. It's a physical bond, emotional bond, an energetic bond, and it's never deep enough. It's never enough. So there's this intensity involved. So there might be some of the intensity for yourself and the way that you express that might, it might be over the top or too much for some. I have no idea. I'm not telling you straight out, hey, man, look, the way you come across, I'm not saying it that way. I'm saying what this chart reads. So this might just be for something for you to consider, especially for your Saturn at 3 degrees. That's the mind and thinking about the way that my intents or my desires and my values come across. There just might be something there you want to think about and consider. Because if there's delays and slowdowns and shit's still not happening for us, we can no longer point the finger. We kind of got to like focus on us and be like, okay, so what is it about me? It's not that you're broken or bad or no good. It's not that. It's just saying there are still some things for you that have to be worked on for you, for yourself. It's where you are more whole and more of a complete being to offer to another in a way that will be long lasting in a relationship, as opposed to something that might come fast and all of a sudden be gone. Uranus energy, right? Friendship energy. That's the other thing. Friendship energy, fifth house, romance, but group energy and friendship energy. So there just might be some things you got to reconsider. And when this Chiron finally leaves Aries, it will also help this Saturn energy. This Chiron, the wounded healer, will eventually touch on. But again, this is not in 2025. This is, there's some time away. Now, what I will say to end this with you is this Jupiter is going to get to 25 degrees and it's going to sit at 25 for a while. So you may have some more opportunities. You may have some opportunities to connect with some folks, and it might be people that you already know, people from the past or from childhood, because it's Cancer energy, people who have more. You mentioned something about somebody in the past and it felt kind of like, yeah, someone you got along with, somebody at school or something like that. So when Jupiter gets here, it'll be conjunct your 11th house cusp line, which is group energy and friends. But the Cancer stuff is there. So whether it's family, friends and it's Jupiter, so this is a male, right? It's masculine energy. And for females looking for a man, it's the Jupiter energy we want to attract. Some opportunities may occur for you. All right. So it's from now until November, because then that's when Jupiter begins a retrograde and will start to go backwards. And it'll go all the way back to 15 degrees. So your window, right, of meeting somebody possibly is going to be in November. Okay. And you're probably looking like the first 2 weeks of November. All right. I certainly hope that helps, because to me, with a Jupiter and being conjunct your 11th house cusp line, which can be surprises. Yeah, it can be surprises. And, because you have Saturn talks about somebody who's older, and so can that Aquarius energy. It can be somebody who's either younger or older, not necessarily a pair. All right. Let me coast along here. Let me see where I'm at. So who was number two? Number two, you're up. I don't know how far I got on the numbers because we don't have a whole lot of people here. I just remember that number 3 was Audi. Shell's number 4. Okay, magically intuitive would be number 5. When I give you your number, you got to know it, because I'm going to say the number and you got to just show. If you don't show, then I go to the next person. So magically intuitive is number 5. Oh, Lou S is here. Lou S, you're number 6. Okay, those are the only names in the chat. That's all right. We're cruising along. All right, so Donna Marie is in. Donna said, I'm in. Donna Marie is in. All right. Hubby's chart. Okay, let's take a look at hubby's chart for Donna Marie. Yes, you got it. Oh, very good. You did it well, too. Me, number 2. Thank you for doing that. That's perfect. All righty. Okay, Shell, I see. You said I emailed it to you. All right, I'll be checking in on that. And let's go to Donna Marie, because you're number 2. And let me get this thingamajigger open. And okay, the question is, yeah, I'm sure I just put it as Donna's husband or Donna's hubby. I did. Oh, wait a minute. Do we have 2 Donna hubbies? Oh, you know what? We do. Ah, yeah, that's so funny. I have 2 Donna hubbies in here. All right, so are we looking at... Oh, okay. I did the one where I put your name. Okay, that helps. I realized and I changed it. Okay. So let's take a quick look at this to see. So you have seen his chart before, I'm assuming? Oh, let's get him on here. And are we just okay? Yeah, I just wanted to get this basic chart on here real quick. Oh, the air's off, and that's great. Sometimes it just gets too cold. Okay, so Donna Marie, number 6 is passing. Okay, great. And that means Abatha, you're number 7. Abatha, you're number 7. So you hear your name and a number, remember that number. When I call that number, you better show up. All right, moving along. I'm sorry I'm being abrupt, but Stacy told me she wasn't going to be here tonight, so I'm just getting right to the business, and it's only one way for me to do it, and it's like that. All right, so Donna, let me get your husband's chart on here, and let's stop screen. Do we have to? Let me show the screen. There we go. That works. Okay. So here it is, Donna. Let me see where my phone is. I don't. Oh, shit. I must have. Let me hit the like on this. Everybody like the live? Let's like the live. That way G can keep doing Saturday Night Lives. Otherwise, Yep. Okay, let's see. Yep, we got him April 21st, 1966. It's right there on the chart. Oh, you know what? I have the wrong. That's the chart, but let me get this other chart on here. It's because we've never looked at his chart. I mean, not like this, we haven't. Oh, he gets a star. Ooh, special. Oops, I don't know what just happened. Okay, we're going to get it back. It's all good. I had to do that because we have to get this other chart on the screen. All right. Is it coming on? Come on. There we go. All right. April 21st. So close to being a Taurus, man. Like, wow. Okay, so what does Donna say real quick? Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Okay. So what kind of jumped out? Well, I'll just tell you what just jumped out because it just did. His Pluto. Yeah. So it's a really interesting Virgo energy. So yeah, a really hard worker. He's got Virgo in Capricorn, guys. Look at that. Virgo in his 10th house. Yeah, these people, they are a force for sure. But he's got a lot at 16 degrees. It's amazing. So the 10th house is career. It's what we're working on, our long-term goals, whatever it is we're building for the future. 10th house. Some it's who they're married to, right? Because it's a long-term commitment, 10th house. But career for sure. Because the 10th house is very serious, but it is also about building something that's going to last until death do us part. That's kind of the goal on the 10th house energy. And with the Virgo stuff being there, right? The details, a job that's very serious, but yet I'm serving in some way. Okay. Sometimes these are great, like, because it's very kind of mundane work, right? It's not flashy at all. So it can, we think Mercury, there can be a lot of that involved possibly, but it can also have to do with a lot of domestic energy, something to do with hygiene and cleaning, maybe possibly even domestic pets, health care, even. Like a lot of this is that Virgo stuff. And so Pluto at 16, power, intense power in the 10th house in the Virgo energy. And the Uranus right at 15. And then Isis there right at 16. Oh, yeah. This is what was wild in his chart. So I drew the chart up when you gave me his digits, I think, yeah, last week. And this is what kind of really freaking jumped out. Yeah. Pluto and Isis. This is husband and wife from the past, husband and wife, like a soul history type of thing. Isis is the wife of Pluto, and they're together at 16. Like, holy shit. I was like, what? That's like, I don't know, seems really wild to me. Husband and the wife. So his chart, what does that mean? Well, you could say in the 10th house, dude's like married to his work for sure, but there's almost like a partnership for, connected to this very serious energy. Remember I said can be marriage, and a lot of the domestic stuff is important, right? And will go a long way in terms of partnerships, personal and professional. But especially the long term, the longevity of a partnership, it's not going to be based on, it's more practical, it's more common sense, it's more logical. It's based on things that, like, well, here, let me do this. When we talk about what makes a long-term relationship last, because I think something like that kind of came up, right? And oddly enough, that I actually kind of chuckled when I drew up his chart, because I think I remember saying something about practical stuff, doing some mundane practical things. And I gave some cheesy examples like, you want to stock the refrigerator with the things that the other person really likes. Someone that you might not be able to spend a whole lot of time with, like if you're husband and wife and you work opposite hours, or, the kids are all over the damn place and there's never time for just the two people to be together. There's always something else going on. And it's like, how do you let the other person know? What are the simple ways? And sometimes it's just the silly stuff. You wash someone's laundry. Maybe yeah, just different things, right? Different simple, practical things that we can do. And that helps. And it's appreciated and it's recognized. And so for him, this would be something that he does because this is his chart, right? So he can do things and get the recognition and the acknowledgement. Matter of fact, let me get that star. It just popped in. Yeah, he would get a star for like all these great Virgo qualities, right? Paying attention to the details and being thorough and thoughtful. That's Virgo energy. And if it gets too focused on those details, it can become, it can go a little overboard, of course. But if you're getting paid to do that, well, then that's a wonderful thing. Now, what else am I looking at? Relationships. Okay. So 11th house, friend energy, Libra, right? That's important because that's where the Libra energy is, significant one-on-one relationships. And then there's some of that in the 12th house too, which can be a little bit of a mystery. Okay. A little bit of a mystery. And that piece of it, it's okay. It's okay that it's a little bit of a mystery. There's not a whole lot of objects here. There is a part of fortune. So like there's can be a professional relationship because these are contracts too. And in the 12th house, we think institutional, sometimes government energy that works out with that. But his part of fortune is at 26 degrees there, at the Venus degree, by the way. So that's a good thing. I'm liking that. Now, some of the other stuff in the chart that can be interesting, the 4th house, home and family. It's filled with Pisces energy, which is, this energy might be confusing to people because it's blurry, it's fuzzy. And lately, especially the readings I've been doing lately and videos, like the nature element has been coming forward strongly. And that's Pisces energy, nature. So for an individual with Pisces in the 4th, possibly spending time in nature would be really important because it would be emotionally satisfying. And I can totally understand this for sure, especially since he has Venus there. This would be really important. This is what he desires. This is what he loves. It's the Pisces energy. So whether it's, being sensitive to certain things, um, sounds, definitely nature, but this would be entertainment, like as in sound and music type of stuff. But this is even movies for sure, make believe, fantasy, solitude as well. Having some solitude. And Pisces can be really sensitive to sounds, especially in the home. Now, I will say, I want you to see this. This is important. Having Saturn in the fourth house, not a good combination, in that people who have Cancer and Saturn energy mixed, sometimes I see a lot of charts, and sometimes, there can be this depressive, like depression energy. This is our emotions. And when we have hard Saturn there, sometimes people suffer. Now, he doesn't have a retrograding Saturn, so that's a good thing. And it's also at a Pisces degree, and I think that probably helps a little bit too. But what this would mean, because Saturn can create restrictions. So when we're talking about feelings and emotions, um, and home and family and women in general, and nurturing, right? This, how do I nurture somebody? And how do I feel nurtured? Saturn can create, it's very disciplined, but at the same time, because it's dealing with my emotions, it can be tricky, especially if one's asking somebody how they feel about something. It can be tricky. I do like that Mercury is at 4 degrees, and that's the emotion energy. So when this person gets fired up, there's probably some communication that goes on, because it's emotions and it's Mercury, the mind, and it's Aries, which it might have a hard time, um, like holding, like I don't want to say the filter. It's not about it's not about lacking a filter so much. It's more of when I get really amped up in my emotions, because Aries is like so fiery and just kind of very impulsive. The emotions can kind of take over. So with this Saturn here in that fourth might actually be a benefit, because it has a restrictive quality of holding us back with those emotions. And so it would help, because anytime Aries and Mercury are together, this must be somebody who can kind of just go off at the mouth and then have some regrets later on, especially if their emotions overspill into something. But the Saturn probably helps. And so Saturn can be cold and hard. Okay. And so that's where the depression and feeling cold and hard, and maybe even a little fearful too, that can also dip in. And he has Chiron with Saturn as well. So definitely the word caution is jumping out all over the place for sure. Caution and the level of sensitivity that people have when they have Pisces in the fourth house. Woo. So if this is your partner, well, this makes sense, because I think you're highly intuitive and sensitive. There's the intuitions, but then there's the amped up Pisces, I'm a sponge type of stuff, or where we've got the empathic abilities, but the I just know shit intuitive Pisces. This can be interesting in terms of, being in the home. And so, yeah, I don't know if you two share children together or had to bring up children, but holy shit, this would have been, yeah, I would think it would have been difficult, especially for this person. I will say also, though, when you have Chiron at 24 degrees in Pisces, holy shit, these people are like healers. Yeah, these people are healers. They can heal by being present in a nurturing way. Okay. And a Pisces way. And the Pisces way can do it by sound. A Pisces way can do it by like this surrender and this calmness and this belief and this faith. Faith can be strong. Okay. But of course, Saturn is right there too, though. So we kind of gotta just, realize that Saturn's effect, it restricts things. So it can restrict that healing ability and that Chiron, but it also speaks to work in a healing industry of some sort in some way. And because it's Pisces, hospitals, maybe medical field, um, yeah, I don't know, healthcare in some way, doctor energy. But, when people start exploring all that kind of energy, people heal as whether they use Reiki or, I've seen lots of people do healing and there's no hands-on whatsoever. It's people are sending people energy, and there's a lot of different ways that people can perform that kind of work. Everyone's different, and they have to kind of develop that craft for themselves and figure that out. So there's that barely Taurus sun at 1 degrees in the 6th house of work, of Virgo energy, projects, tasks, routines, lists. Taurus is there, stable, loyal, reliable, going to finish what I started. Taurus can be stubborn as a bull, of course, because it is the bull. All right. Interesting. 11 degrees is what the ascendant is. And so that is unique energy. It is Scorpio rising, right? These people can have a very intense look about them. Scorpio rising. And what I think is fascinating is he's got like this feminine astrology, Scorpio, very occult-like energy on his ascendant as well at 11 degrees. So very unique. Something about his appearance is likely very, very unique looking. Something about this person when they walk in a room or when somebody meets them, something unique where they have a lasting, remarkable features in some way. Maybe it's piercing eyes, who knows? But Scorpios, normally you can look at a Scorpio not knowing they're a Scorpio. Once you're looking at them, you're like, oh, yeah, I think that's a Scorpio. Very different, very unique. Okay, he also has a moon in Taurus. This is important. The moon in Taurus is, right there. Moons in Tauruses can be highly intuitive people. And this is in the 7th house of his chart. Partnerships, business and personal, professional and personal, professional and private. And the moon is there. So having partnerships is important to this person. But it's a very grounded, down to earth thing. Yes, it wants things to be beautiful. Yes, it can be very it can be very, I don't think Taurus would ever be called generous. However, they can take care of very well with their funds and what they have. The people who are of value in their life, they look out for them. They take care of them. And moon energy can be quite protective, actually. So there you go with that. He also has Sirius energy in his 6. Sirius are how we feel nurtured in our food. And we'll look at this: work, tasks, projects, daily routines. Like these are the things that this person feels nurtured by. So I think that's going to be important too, in terms of somebody who's always working or work is important to them, or somebody who, this is a person who's going to value work, going to value the day-to-day routines and feels nurtured by it even, but also the food aspect. And so when we talk about nurturing and protection and Cancer energy, like his 4th house, this is like the mom who breastfeeds her infant, 4th house energy, right? Fertility and stuff like that. And yeah. Speaking of that, then maybe, well, you follow where I'm going with that, but especially because Black Moon Lilith is there as well. The emotional and the nurturing and the care, the sensitivity to taking care of another. And the other thing too that's great with Taurus, other than, they'll stick to it because they got that stubborn streak. They're very fixed. So that stubborn thing is true, right? But it makes them reliable, dependable, loyal, and patient. Very patient. Very patient. Okay? So as long as they're getting little signposts along the way, I think they'll be just fine. Absolutely. I think they'll be just fine. And the other thing, the third house cusp line, the mind and the thinking and the communication. There's Capricorn, work, my long-term goals, material, financial, long-term stability. As long as this person knows they're with somebody who's serious and who's in it for the long haul, this would be very important to this person. That is what's on their mind. Now, their values, 10th house, 10 degrees, it's work again. Look at that. Crazy, right? Work. Absolutely. It's work. This person, Venus, is their greater benefic in their chart, by the way. That Venus in the 4th house. Feminine energy, double feminine energy, actually. But yeah, I love that it's at 15 because that's that mind degree. And so this Venus in Pisces at 15 of communication and talking and speaking and family, right? 4th house can probably help some of this, the Saturn Chiron restrictions and wounds and stuff that's here. Because Venus wants things to be beautiful and harmonious and benevolent. That's just who Venus is. Superpower is bonded energy for sure. Deep bonds, soul bonds. In the 1st house, that's how they look. That's how they appear. That's how they appear. And that can be kind of confusing because Neptune is there. So the superpower is blended with Neptune energy, which really kind of ends up taking on a spiritual tone to it because it's blending with Neptune, spiritual leadership in a way, right? 25 and Neptune there at the at the Jupiter degree. So kind of a spiritual leadership type of a role in whatever way that person feels comfortable doing that. So I kind of remembered some of the questions that we kind of started to go over last week. Did this make sense for you? Yeah. Okay. He does have them eyes that stand out. Okay. Yeah. When you look at his chart, right? And that's Urania. That A is Urania. She's I call her the feminine Uranus because she is the female astrologer, Urania. Isn't that interesting? And he's got it at the Uranus degree, at the Aquarius degree. It's like, what? Now remember, this is how he appears, okay? But he does have it in the 12th house because technically it's in the 12th, and that would be like the occult and past life or soul history energy, however you want to talk about that there's innate knowledge about such things, which when we think astrology, just if you don't like the word astrology, just substitute it with the word patterns. You can see the patterns. Yeah. Yes. Very, very, very interesting. Okay, so it does answer the questions. Yeah. And I kind of had that feeling before, like that this was a person who, yeah, they're in it for the long haul. And as long as the partner is equally in it for the long haul and is about duty and responsibility, and yeah, I just feel like it's all good. Those things are important. Yep. He's got them eyes that stand out. Oh, wow, I love that. Yeah, I'm so glad that you got here early, Donna. That way we can get that in. That's so great. And thank you last week, Donna. You were in the private lives and you contributed. You did some of your own reading work. And that was very kind of you. It sure was. I'm trying to focus. So number 3, you're up. Who did I give number 3 to? You're up. I'm going to check. It looks like it's from Audi. First time joining. Audi, you're up. I think you're number 3 according to my stuff here. Yes, I'm not. Oh, look at this. For a first timer, this person's on the ball. Awesome. All right, let me go to the email real quick. Oh, let me get rid of some of this stuff. I got other things going on. I didn't realize. Okay. Okay, are you Detroit, Michigan? Because emails do not match the names in the chat, so I'm just double checking. Is that right? Let me get my phone so I can see if that's right. Oh, thank you, Lou. Yep. Yeah, I had a couple of emails though. That's why I'm trying to match up birth digits with who is actually, yeah. Okay. So let me create this chart real quick. And I don't know if Donna's going to want this. Let me close this out and we'll just save. What the heck? Yep. Okay. All right. Let's draw this chart up. So this is going to be what I have here is, shit's going wild on me for a second. Hold on. Okay. I have, alrighty, we're just going to put this in here. AUDI. Did I get confirmation that this is, that Detroit, Michigan is Audi? Or Audi, however you want to pronounce that. And you even have your birth time. That's fantastic. That's what we need. The birth times matter. Otherwise, what I read, well, I just can't use the chart in terms of location for houses. That's all. Okay, so there we go. Okay, have you seen your chart before? Let me go and look and read and see if this is alrighty, let's get this on the screen. Yes, got it. Detroit. We're in. We are in. Woohoo. This is good. This is good. So have you seen your chart before? I'm just trying to mark these charts and the star keeps coming up. Well, you know, that's actually good. This is the star room. I don't think I even said that yet. You're in the star room. Every Saturday we're here. Yeah, I didn't take care of any of the business. Every Saturday we're here, except the very last Saturday of the month, the very last Saturday of every month. We do this very same thing, but we do it privately. It's called Private Lives. If you want to get in on the private lives, go to my email down below, the same email that you send your birth digits to. Let me know if you want to get in on the private lives. It is limited seating. It's a very small group that I do, but it's limited seating available for that. And I think next month there are still 1 or 2 spots available at the top of my head. That's I believe. So let's get this chart in here. Okay, we got it. There we go. Oh, you've seen your Leo stellium. Okay, so let's see. I haven't even looked at it yet. Let me get this up here and take a peek. Oh, Leo rising, Leo stellium. Yeah, you do. You got Mercury. Oh, Estrella at 3 degrees. She's a little pit bull at 3 degrees. Okay. And then you even have Mercury there. Interesting. Okay. So you got Mercury in the 12th house. All righty. So the 12th house is, you know, it's that Pisces energy. I talked about a lot of the Pisces in that other chart, the previous chart. But because it's in Leo, these people can be over the top dramatic, but yours would likely be, because it's communication, Mercury, but also your mind. I think having it at 6 degrees is a big help because that's the Virgo degree. And I think that, yeah, the mind can be tricky in the 12th house. My thoughts, it works really good for being creative and sound, like even music and theater and art, big time. A Mercury in the 12th, it can hear the information coming from out there, but it can be difficult in terms of communicating and like with retaining the details, and because things can be fuzzy with that 12th house, right? Things can get fuzzy. So depending upon some other things like, oh, your Mercury's way ahead of your sun. Oh, wow. You were fortunate having a Mercury that far ahead of the sun. Wow. And an 11-degree sun. Holy shit. This 11-degree stuff is coming up strong tonight. Wow. You have 11. And let me see the rest of the chart. Yeah, I'm kind of a crazy person with all the chart, with all the digits and all the planets. Okay. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's interesting there. Okay. We'll get back to that. Oh, wow. Mercury comes up again, big time, 3 degrees and at the Virgo on the second house. Okay. So you have many beneficial things in terms of the mind and communication. Having a Mercury way in front of the sun like that means that you're given information ahead of time. You're going to know things before other people know things. Obviously, in the 12th house, it can also be that way. We can get information in our sleep and in our dreams. But yeah, creative writing, screen, movies, like this would be really strong with this. And like I said before, maybe some music stuff too. Poetry, however you'd like to create. But journaling my dreams might be a good idea. It doesn't mean that every single thing that you dream about is telling you, hey, this is an event that's coming. It doesn't have to always mean that because it's confusing. It's the 12th house. And you're going to need to have something there that's matching up to support Mercury's strength to be like that. And you have a square. Okay. Your Mercury's squared up over here. Okay. Which is fine. It's Taurus energy, but Taurus and Leo's a little challenge. So your Leo stellium, you have Venus in the first house. When people, especially females, because Venus is feminine energy, if they have Venus in the first house, Venus can be all about hair and beauty and makeup for sure, and nails because it's in Leo. Leo likes costumes, and it wants to stand out. Absolutely. It can be a creative communicator, but your appearance is going to be the thing where people are like, and with your Venus at 24 degrees, there might be something there. Let me see if it's being angled. 22. You do have something at 22, 27, and you do have something at 21. Okay. Well, typically a Venus in that first house, especially for females, Venus can come across and show some beauty, something that is desirable about one's appearance. Okay. Because it's in Leo, I would still stick to the hair, the makeup, the nails, and clothing and accessories is probably a big deal. Shoes and purses and shit like that. Like that would be big for Venus energy for sure. Your North Node is right on your ascendant. Wow. Oh, Lord. You know what that means? That means your South Node is on your descendant. Oh, okay. Well, the way I say that in that way is the South Node is like the past, kind of like a superpower energy. And if it's in your 7th house, it's about your relationships, right? So you have some strength with relationships, especially group energy and friends and social circles. What can make this tricky is, well, there's a good and not so good with everything, every planet, right? That's just the way it works. The South Node can bring to you partnerships, that you have history with. So whether that's relationships with people that, oh, we broke up and then somehow we found each other again a couple years later or whatever it was, and we got back together, because there's something about the familiarity in the past. Remember, this is a superpower, right? And it's in the Aries degree, so it's very youthful energy. But there's something here in partnerships where that South Node will bring back people that you're very familiar with on a soul level. And that can be really beneficial, right? But it can also be very I'm being shown like almost like stepping stones in a way, right? Where you can see a path, and that's great because we got these stepping stones, but these stepping stones are like, I don't want to say they're in water, but they're, you have to step on those stones. And so the whole point of that is you have to navigate in very intentionally. You have to be careful. You have to, you almost have to, this is saying assertiveness, your partnerships, those people that you have in your life, they can be quite assertive, but there's so much history here. There's so much stuff from the past. And when we're dealing with stuff from the past, many times we don't know if we're dealing with, like, what we're dealing with in the present is actually what's happening now, because it just adds to what we're already dealing with. And so there can be that confusion of, okay, is this big of a deal right now? Or is there something I'm carrying with, or my partners are carrying with them that are adding to this? You follow? So it's like a perceived thing. It might not really be, because it's like the soul history, soul memory stuff. So that can be tricky. And this Aquarius wants unique and different. Unique and different. This Aquarius energy is very fiery and independent. And so is your 13 degrees. I said fiery. It's air, not fire. But this is fire and independence. This is air. And in its independence, right? But at the 12 degrees, it blends in some of that Pisces stuff, right? So it can make that a little blurry and confusing, but at the same time, it can be wonderful and dreamy, like, even, right? Anything with Pisces can be dreamy. So it can make this tricky. Partnerships, especially because you have Uranus here, and you'll have partners who are suddenly there, right? These can be older people or really younger people. Not so much peer energy, even though it's in the friendship thing. But these can be people who are like rocket scientists, who are really smart and different, but very independent energy. Well, isn't that wonderful, right? How can we have partnerships with very independent energy, right? Well, we have to then be equally independent. And if we're not, then that'd be a problem, right? If two independent people agree on certain things, they respect and honor that independence, right? But if you have somebody who's not as independent, they might see it as, it just might be difficult. So that can be a tricky thing there. Look at this. Hot tamale. A Mars at a critical degree of 29 conjunct the 0 degree fourth house cusp line. Intense as all heck. Mars in Scorpio. Intense emotions. This is wounds with the family and the past and history. This is trauma and tragedy. It always upsets me when I see people with Scorpio in the fourth house. It really, really does. Because they just go through a lot of shit. They do. And, Scorpio energy, the traumas and the tragedies, especially feminine energy, fourth house in women. And, women get taken advantage of, and even worse, like way worse. And so, Chiron, wounded healer at 28 degrees. You got family history of a lot of this too. Wow, you even look at this, guys. She's got Urania right there. Another chart where Urania is like really significant. It's right there. It's at the moon degree with your Chiron. Oh, this goes way back with ancestry. Oh, Lord. Yep. way back with ancestry, trauma, tragedies, wounds. But this is also the place of inheritances as well. You know, family wounds, family trauma, but can also be like insurance money and stuff, and you know, inheriting the property, the land. It can be that as well. Yeah, because you got water in those water houses. Interesting. A Pisces moon at 4 degrees. Oh, look at that. Lordy, lordy. Okay. Touching in with the other side on a regular basis. Man. Well, you're going to have to come back sometime and tell us some stories, especially since we got Halloween coming up. Yep. You're going to have to come back and let us know what are some of the things you've experienced because, woo, yeah, Pisces at 4 degrees, it comes up with family again in the 8th house of trauma and tragic stuff, right? Right there. You see the connection. It's crazy. It's a lot. And, you know, mom, but then you even have your son, authority figure, 11 degrees, dad energy, authority figure, boss energy. Almost like, yeah, this can be friend or foe because it's friend, 11 degrees, but it can also be like this strict, authoritative type of energy. Maybe mom was that way. Possibly maybe dad was. Yeah, when we mix mom and dad energy, which is what this is, sun in Cancer, and it's in the 12th house. So it can be complicated. It can be confusing, but at the same time, it can be, you know, maybe this energy was, other than confusing, maybe there was some distance there, right? Or something about it that maybe even deception because it's Pisces energy. But the connections of all your water, spiritual energy, history beyond your birth, right? History beyond your birth. It goes all the way back because there's so much shit about ancestry here. It's pretty strong. So it's a possibility that from a very young age, with psychic Scorpio in the 4th house of high levels of sensitivity, 4th house, and your moon in Pisces, you know, the sponge of the zodiac as far as sensitivities, and the moon being there, mom energy, and trauma and tragedies, and maybe an absent mom, whether it was emotionally or mentally, physically, whatever. There's this wounds and this trauma and the ancestral stuff, like the family women, the lineage. There's like there's healing that has to happen. And that's the beauty of having Pisces there. Pisces can absolutely bring like a calm surrender and a forgiveness and a healing to that 8th house energy. That Pisces has that ability to do that. Although it might seem like a big confusing pile of whatever, but it is possible because, wow, you have Jupiter on your midheaven. Holy crap. You've got this intense energy of Taurus and you've got Jupiter there. Remember, Jupiter adds to things. So your goals, your long-term goals, your finances, your money, what you're building. Yeah, this would be like someone who's stacking gold and shit. Or food, food security, a very real serious thing, right? But Jupiter is traveling too. It can be traveling, like getting on a plane or going overseas, or yeah, this can be the seeking and the searching. My desires. Jupiter brings wisdom. I love that for you. Jupiter brings wisdom, and Jupiter is your greater benefic. That's your greater benefic. So that can be protective. When we think of career, this can be the teacher for sure. Jupiter is a preacher, a teacher, someone who's got higher knowledge, like college level, you know, extended education type of stuff, publishing, and Taurus, beauty, food, right? Maybe even cosmetics and stuff, but farming, we think of Taurus. You even have freaking Saturn in your 10th house. Holy crap. Okay. These people are going to be real serious when it comes to their values. I mean, structured rules, discipline, like these people are very much about, you know, rules are going to be super important. And good God, you even have your freaking Saturn at a Taurus degree. Money and values. Now, the thing about this is because it's Taurus, you're going to want to, I don't know if Taurus can be very creative. Okay. It can be real creative energy and creative with food even, but there can be slowdowns and restrictions with Saturn energy. And that can make it difficult. Even though Taurus is patient, it can make it feel like, what the hell, So Saturn brings a lot of some rigid energy sometimes, because it's so much about the rules. This is the way it's supposed to be. And because Taurus is so over the top, it can be over the top. Well, it will be over the top in the 10th house because it's more Saturn energy. Right, with tradition and rules and keeping it simple and basic, which can be wonderful. It just would have to try to be aware. And I think the Jupiter is probably going to help you with that because it sees the big picture. Jupiter can see, it adds the big picture. It's not just about, the here, what's in front of me. And it can give you the understanding, possibly of some of those long-term goals. And that would be great for if someone's looking for a significant male in their life, having Jupiter there, right up there at the midheaven. For females who are looking for males, Jupiter is their one. Jupiter's like the one I'm looking for, damn it. Because that would be, I can make a long-term commitment, like marriage, partnership material. Yeah. So that was the first time we looked at your chart. You're welcome to come back anytime. I'm going to move along now. But I would love to hear like some of the interesting stuff. I'm pretty sure with Mercury in the 12th, you've been in tune and maybe not realized it. There might have been information you were getting or things you've seen and heard and experienced where you, like metaphysical stuff, paranormal type of stuff even. Okay. Absolutely. Oh, you're welcome, Donna. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yep. Last week, the private lives. That's right. Absolutely. You'll email me. Okay, great. So Audi, Detroit. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch up, even though into music and art. Yeah. Oh, fashionista. There you go. You got the name. There you go. Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. I feel, yeah. And they say karma is Saturn. And so, yeah, I'm not going to say I say that. I'm just saying they say, if you read up on it. And so having it in the 10th house can make it tricky. Oh, you do have stories. Oh, absolutely. You're going to be at 0 degrees. Oh my God, you don't have a choice. And with Jupiter right there, seeking and searching. Yeah, absolutely. And you do have stories. Okay, well, we're going to want to hear them. Yeah. I try to, for like near the Halloween season, October, we try to do spooky stories, and paranormal stories and stuff. Absolutely. So for folks who have stories to share, bring them here. We want to hear them. We do it after the astrology stuff. Once we get through the charts, we can do that. All right. It's 10:13. I have to stop talking, at least about this chart. Let me move on. So you were number 3. Number 4, you're up. Who is number 4? Wait, I think I saw somebody wrote up a list. Oh, Donna. Yeah, don't worry about it. You have given so much to the channel. Absolutely. You are extremely generous and you have been extremely generous. Did hubby get to listen in? I'm just reading this now. Well, yeah. I hope hubby was okay with that. Someone told me my karmic cycle begins next year. Oh shit. Oh, love bug. Yikes. Okay. All right. Let me stop reading the past. Let me get to the future. There you go, Lou. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Lou. Yeah. So number 4 is Shell. Shell sent their digits. Shell, are you number 4? Are you still here? And then magically, And then Abatha. All right, it's a slow night. Woohoo. All right, is Shell still here? Number 4. Oh, I don't see number 4 showing up in the chat. You got to show up and say, I'm here. If you're not here, then I go to the next one. But Shell, you put your digits in. You took the time to put your digits in. You know, you kind of want to. You know what? Your name is familiar. I might even have. I know that name. I know that name. I think we might have you in our system, but if you're not here, I'm just going to go to the next person. Okay, Shell, I don't see going once. Number 4 going once, going twice. Number 4, Shell, you're number 4. If you're not here, we're moving on. All right, we're moving on. Number 5. Let me go to that list. I should have pinned it. Where did it go? There's not many people. It's a slow night. Okay, it is Magically Intuitive. Magically Intuitive said, I'm here. Excellent. Let me put a star on that thing. That's their version of pinning, but that actually helps. Okay, so Magically Intuitive said, I am here. You are up, Magically Intuitive. So if I skipped over anybody because you weren't here, we just put you at the back of the line. If you happen to pop back into the live and we're still live, then we can do your chart then. All right, let's go get Magically Intuitive's chart, since I know I've seen your chart before. Let me get the M's going on here, and they're so long. M-A. M-A-G. Come on. I keep scrolling over it, and I think I keep missing it. Okay. There it is. Okay. You know, sometimes you just scroll too fast. You just go really. At least I do. Let me see if I click that. Oh, I like that. It'll let me do it there. Okay. They've made some changes, and I can add it here. That works for me. I like that a lot better, actually. Okay, Magically Intuitive. All right, Shell, we're going to get you. We just pulled up Magically, so you missed your turn, but we're going to come back around to you, so don't go away because I see you got your digits to me. We're on to Magically right now, and yeah, there's not a lot of people here. It shouldn't be too big of a deal for you. So Magically, anything to expect in the near future? Okay, Magically's like, I'm simple. Just, okay, let me get that off of there. Sometimes, yeah. Oh, no, we want that chart to show up big. How do we get that chart to go big? Oh, yes. That's so much better. I'm sorry I didn't do that sooner. I didn't realize how. Anyway, I just started reading. Okay. So Magically, yeah, I'm hearing Jupiter. All right, let's put on the. Let's take a look at this. Where would Jupiter be for you? Jupiter's down here. Oh, in your 3rd house of learning and communication. 22 degrees. Jupiter's going to be touching your Cheroklo. Okay, this is home and family. So have you been reconnecting with home and family? Possibly the past, possibly history. Oh, you have Jupiter trining your Saturn right now. Oh, no wonder. Okay, so interesting. All right. Friends, possibly? Maybe somebody older, maybe somebody you've worked with, but different and unique. This is group energy big time. Yeah, sometimes I read the charts and I'm just reading like what's like we're in it, because 23 is astrology. We're in it. It's the group, it's the live stream, right? Jupiter connecting tribe energy, connecting with your tribe, but also your family, because Cancer energy, like literally, you have a lot in Cancer actually. You have quite a few things. It's all in your third house. So whether you're seeing family or communicating, phone calls, texting, whatever the heck, there's communications with family. And so with Jupiter there, it can be the family that, that we don't share blood with. It could be that kind of family. Um, just people that you meet that you resonate deeply with, because there's a lot of history, and that's Cancer energy. It's history, it's the past. But feminine energy, so females might be prominent with this. Females might be prominent. And okay, so you're going to have Jupiter standing still on your Estrella. Estrella doesn't usually give up on something. She actually doesn't know when something is done and over with. Now, because it's in your third house of talking and thinking and communication, this is something that, you want to be aware of, especially if it's something where you're really emotional about. The thing with Jupiter, as beneficial and beautiful and generous that it can make us really confident. And I think I remember looking at your chart before. I know I've looked at it a couple times, but I remember because of the sensitivities in communication, right? And maybe being self-aware and overly sensitive, maybe about the way that you communicate, or simply just anytime a family member talks to you type of thing, you might be, because Cancer energy, it's more about being gentle and soft. So if people come across in a very assertive and aggressive way, it can penetrate through the crab's shell, Cancer energy. And so, when I see Cancer in the third, these folks they don't have the hard crab shell, they have the soft shell. So they can just get poked like a little nudge, but it feels like like an elbow to us almost. It can feel really harsh. And that might be with family members, not all the time, but when Jupiter is there, Jupiter can exaggerate stuff. It can really kind of just add to it. So it is a possibility, that either you're communicating that way and might be filled with emotions. And the other thing too, I'm hearing with Jupiter for you here is because it's in the third house of like lungs and stuff, and Cancer energy is water, there can be, whether I'm not saying sickly, but just maybe like some mucus type thing, maybe even like nasally or something. And even if it's not so much in the nose, maybe in the chest area and the throat area, even possibly with the Cancer, because Jupiter will really expand upon the amount of water. They even say Jupiter in Cancer, as benevolent as it is for some folks, like I think of boondocking with Dennis. When Jupiter started in Cancer, right away, Dennis, his inflammation came back, like even worse in his legs. And so he was retaining a lot of water, and he still is. And so Jupiter in Cancer, we tend to retain more water. So that can look a lot of different ways for people. For him, because he has congestive heart failure, it's created like gigantic wounds in his skin and his legs and stuff, even though he's kind of got it under control right now. But you have it in the third house of talking and thinking and speaking. So while Jupiter can help to give you some confidence, there can be, maybe loud communications even because of our emotions. Our emotions kind of get amped up when Jupiter is there. And you have some stuff at 24 degrees over here in Scorpio, and it's Nessus. So I think having Saturn, part of this strong, you're going to have a strong trine. Well, actually, you're in it now. Jupiter and Saturn and Nessus. I think Saturn is a benefit, actually, because I see Nessus over here in your seventh house of partnerships. Nessus, according to the astrology, can be difficult in partnerships. It can be difficult. It can make partnerships very tricky because the seventh house energy is partnerships in terms of professional, but also personal and private and marriage, even, right? But Nessus is known to kind of be seeking revenge. That's what it says. Okay. So having that in the seventh house of partnerships, but its seventh house is also open enemies. Well, then having that Nessus there, we need somebody to be able to tame Nessus energy, to restrict it a little bit. And the Saturn does that for you. So I think that's actually really a good thing in your chart. What you're going to want to pay attention to then is the Mercury, because as Mercury leaves the Libra energy of I'm going to be, kind and harmonious and be fair and balanced and diplomatic and talking and communicating, and it will switch. We're talking within 2 days' time, it's going into Scorpio. So this Mercury in Scorpio becomes a little bit different, communicating, and even the way I think. But this is domestic energy in the home, but it's also the regular day-to-day routines and tasks and projects. So this can be at work and with coworkers. Scorpio, we can develop deep bonds with people. We can communicate about very serious, deep, important things, not the weather, right? We're talking about shit that matters with Scorpio. It becomes super detective. Mercury in Scorpio becomes really digging deep to learn and to research, the ultimate researcher, right? The super detective. And having Mars in Scorpio will also help that along. But here's the caution. Mercury in Scorpio, my communication style can be quite combative and assertive because it's Scorpio, and freaking Mars is in Scorpio too. So intense communications, combative communications, home, or people that you are around on a regular basis, neighbors, peers, coworkers, siblings, cousins, whoever you deal with, like just whether it's talking, social media too, folks, by the way, absolutely. Mercury's social media. So yeah, there might be some highly combative crap online. That's kind of how the beginning of October looks in general. Okay. But there's a promise of it getting better because as Mercury will move through the Scorpio energy, it'll get affected by Jupiter big time. Jupiter will take over that Mercury energy, that feisty ass Mercury. Okay. And communication, yeah, you have a retrograding Mercury. So your mind and your thoughts. Okay. So just keep in mind about Black Moon Lilith, who's at 11 right now, and she's retrograding, but she's in Scorpio. Okay. And she can be, she tends to throw a monkey wrench in things. And it's not necessarily somebody over there. It's usually our own thoughts, not having the best of thoughts. And Lilith kind of whispering in our ears, trying to start shit. Because it's in Scorpio, and Scorpio always needs to be on a goddamn mission. I always say it wants a battle. It needs to have a challenge. And Mars needs a physical challenge. So one of the ways that we handle Scorpio energy, Mars energy, is to get physically challenged. For some people, that can simply be going for a walk. For others, they might have to get in the ring to literally be challenged. Depends on where you're at. For some, I don't know. Maybe it's just doing basic housework, but like powerhouse cleaning, it really truly has to challenge us physically. Because then, it's like the dog that we have to go take outside and put like a bag of bricks on the thing because it's got so much energy, and we work out energy. Yeah. You don't want to overdo it. You just want to make sure that, you're having a healthy outlet for the fight energy. Mars was born for war. So find healthy outlets for the angry, easily frustrated Scorpio energy. This is for all of us, not just you. This is for all of us. But seeing Mars in your 6th house, and it will be here. It will stay here for a full week, another week at least. It'll only be at 12 degrees in 7 days. So it'll still be your 6th house doesn't end until 18 degrees. So we're talking next week and the following week. Yeah. So you just want to keep that in mind. And maybe you've noticed that you've been more busy in the home, maybe cleaning, doing Virgo stuff. It's a real good possibility. It's a real good possibility. And keeping yourself busy would be good. Okay, so hopefully that helps you a little bit, right? So strange. Shell said, so strange I am and have been here. Okay, Shell, well, don't worry about it. It was when I called your name multiple times. You have to come in the chat and say, I'm here. And there was no response multiple times. So we just went to the next person. That's just how it is. But never fear. We'll come back around because the list is short. Abatha is next, and then you'll be right after that, Shell. Is Abatha here? I don't even see. Well, I haven't really been looking. I've been staring at charts. Yeah, combative communication. Yeah, when we're aware of it, right? When we're journaling and we know, okay, so like Mars is here and then Mercury's going to be joining that party. Okay. Count to 10 is one thing, but the Mars energy needs a daily, healthy, solo activity to get out its aggression. That's it. So when I say like power cleaning, yeah, some people can be like, going to town. Like, it was just a few days ago. Somebody was like power cleaning the pavement or some shit, like the sidewalk in front of their house. And I'm like, oh, okay, someone's getting out some of their, like that's good. It's a solo activity. It's better you do it to the damn cement than you do it to somebody else, right? Yeah, it's intense. It's intense. Abatha says anything you see. All right, let's get Abatha up here and see what's shaking Abatha. Open Abatha. I'm going to the A's. There he is. I got it. Yay. Okay, Abatha, I think let's get your chart up here. Yeah, let's see what Jupiter's doing for you. I know you've been waiting. I don't know why it didn't give me the chart I had on. You know how it was where the chart was really big? Oh, good. We got it. Okay. Great. So, you got Mars in your 9th house. It's going to be at your midheaven soon. Okay, Mars at the midheaven. So we take action with our long-term goals. We don't sit around. We take action. Interesting. Insurance, Scorpio. It's also about wounds in the past, too, and shared values. But you'll be taking action because Mars is conjunct your midheaven. Now, you see Black Moon Lilith is there right now. So that's like, okay, what the hell? Yeah. Which would mean that something about Lilith, she's a shit starter. She just is. She's a shit starter. Let me see your own Lilith. Oh, your own Lilith is that at 6 degrees domestic energy in Capricorn in your 12th house? Okay, so this is going to be tricky. Anytime somebody has any planet in the 12th house, it's the subconscious. So we might not understand that energy. We might not even see that we're exhibiting that sort of a behavior. It's subconscious. So since your Black Moon Lilith is subconscious, that might mean that you are like the subconscious combative Lilith, because she's in Scorpio. It might it might try to be the boss of something or someone, especially with anything that we're sharing, shared values. Okay. So the way she would do this would be like a psychological thing because it's Scorpio. A really great example, like the United States, I know there's a whole shitload of other countries who've gone through stuff, right? I only mention the US because this is where I live. And I can't talk about anywhere else because I'm not living there, right? So, like psychological warfare, yeah, the US citizens are doing that for sure. And they were manipulated by social media, Mercury. So it'll be interesting, Mercury going into Scorpio. Um, and seeing and comprehending and hopefully bringing about an awareness of all of that. But with the psychological warfare, it can look a lot of different ways. But I'm hearing Russia, whether it's really Russia, but I think it's more like, we have in the digital realm, we have like bots and stuff. And we have things happening on social media. And sometimes we just assume that stuff is true. But what happens is it is consistently working on our last damn nerve. Right. And so it's like this, it's like it's embedded in our psychology. And pretty soon we become divisive and hateful and fearful, and it starts to spread. You follow? Now, this isn't to say that that's who you are. Not at all. I'm saying to be aware of just this damn Lilith up here, because your Lilith is so hidden, right? She's hidden, and it's with authority figures too, actually, bosses and dad energy, okay? Because it's a black moon Lilith there. And these would be people that you likely are around a lot because it's the Virgo energy. So people who are part of your work routine or your life where you live, domestic energy, okay? And it can be people, even when you're just shopping or something, but work and your long-term goals are part of this. So with that said, let me just move this real quick for you. Let me move it up a little bit by about a week. I know Lilith is retrograding, but I know she stops and she goes forward. And so in 1 week's time, okay, so in 1 week's time, she's already dipped back into Libra. Now, again, that's courtrooms and lawyers. And I know for you, that's a big deal in your life. And so that freaking Lilith, my gosh, it's like her being there really, she can probably cause some problems for you because she's hidden and you're not aware of her. I'm trying to see if there's anything here. Okay, so your Venus, I think, is that at 8 degrees? Okay. All right. And then Mercury's right there. All right. So how about next week? Next week, you're going to have Mercury on top of your Venus. And it'll start a little bit sooner than that. So by the end of this week, you might hear something with the insurance money, possibly. I mean, I don't know for sure because, it's Scorpio, right? It is insurance money, and it is the court cases. It is the justice system, the ninth house. And it's just a communication. It could simply be a letter. It could be a form that needs to be filled out. It could be something as basic and simple as that. Because I know we've looked further down the line for you, and we don't expect anything until 2026. But at the same time, you do have Venus going through the 8th house. So more Mercury details and forms and stuff that has to be filled out. So for this week, yeah, like that seems to be, I'm looking and looking and looking. And the one thing I will add to this is that this Uranus energy down here, Uranus is retrograding and it's going to get to 29 degrees of Taurus. So what I'm hoping for you is that 29 degrees of Taurus, I see it will trine. You have Sirius at 29 degrees in Virgo. So it can bring a surprise. but a nice trine to you feeling nurtured. So this can, and again, it's in the house of insurance money. You see that? So this, other than courtrooms and court cases, I don't, I don't mean to pry, and I don't need to know your whole story, but if there's, I know you were injured on the job, so possibly you're also working, receiving disability even. That might be something here because of this, like the insurance stuff and institutional money and stuff comes up kind of strong here. Okay. And so the Cirrus stuff at 29 in Virgo and the Uranus energy is surprise, but insurance, maybe something, maybe you're hearing about something then. And so that's going to be a little bit of time before Uranus gets there. Okay. But you might even hear about it when the Uranus is at this 0 degrees, which it will be for the next couple of weeks. It'll still be for the month of October, basically. Yeah. So hopefully it brings us a surprise of support, something that you want, something that makes you feel nurtured. And sometimes we tie that to food, whether it's food benefits or who the heck knows, but nurturing. And yeah, hopefully it helps you, basically, because I know your injury on the job and injuries are strong in your chart. Very strong. All right. You've been thinking about starting your own business. Well, you're going to be taking some action on that. You are going to be taking some action on that. Yep. And so, with that said, what will be helpful is that as that Mercury and that Mars move through that Scorpio energy, um, they are going to be aspecting your Saturn energy. Yeah. And Saturn is work, and it's the long term, and me being my own boss, even. Ooh, don't sit on it. Do it. Do it. Even, you do what you can and see how far it takes you. See how far it takes you. If nothing else, you chalk at worst case scenario, you chalk it up as experience. Yep. Okay, so Shell, are you still here? Because it is your turn. And Shell, I think I have you in my system already. I saw your email and I'm like, wait a minute, I know this name. Let me go see. Okay, I don't have your chart. Okay, then I got to draw it up. Not a problem. Let's get that over to here. And let's get that in here. Or maybe you've been here before. Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Maybe you were here before and we just never got to get your chart up in here. Okay, so you just had a birthday. I don't know. Your name just seems so familiar. Okay, hold on. We did that wrong. Oh, I definitely haven't drawn your chart up before. Canada. Woohoo. All right. Have you seen your chart before? Um, what the hell? It just erased your name. What is going on? Why did that happen? Sometimes. Okay. Okay. Stop messing with me. Thank you. Okay. Let's see what we come up with. So have you seen, let me see if she said, if she's seen her chart before. Let me get this chart up here real quick. So yeah, have you seen your chart, Shell? Well, Shell, can you hear me? Have you seen your chart before? I've got a Scorpio rising at 14 degrees. Does that sound like you? Let me go find the live stream. There it is. Is Shell here? Hello, hello, hello. Shell says she's still here, but there's no answer. The only way we could hear your answer, Shell, is if you type it in. Well, Shell, before we can get into anything that has anything to do with that, I have to know that the chart I'm looking at is your chart. So I'm asking, have you seen your chart before? Do you know anything about your chart? Like if you are Scorpio rising, and this chart says that your sun is in your, wow, interesting, on the 11th house cusp line. So we've got a Libra moon at 14 degrees. Yeah, I have a thing about not wanting to read a chart unless it's actually your chart. And so I try to verify that it's your chart. I need for you to confirm that this is your chart. I'll just go like that for right now. So, Shell, is this your chart? Is this your chart? Yeah, I'm trying to get it to show the chart. It won't do that thing that I had it done before where it was like really big. I really don't understand. StreamYard, fix your shit. It's really frustrating. Do the best you can is all you can do. Well, how about this then? Just because you must not be able to hear me. Is this your chart? Shell. Shell's probably like, well, why wouldn't it be my chart? Well, you'd be surprised. Sometimes, oh, did it just move? Holy crap, how did it do that? I don't know. So we're looking at a chart that's a Scorpio rising, and we've got a Venus and a Mercury in the 12th house of Libra. Ooh. They're both at the money degree in the 12th house. You have a 0-degree sun. You're barely a Libra. And it's conjunct Uranus. Maybe that's why we're having problems. That could be. You have a Chiron at 1 degrees in Aries with, okay, my right to exist, my body autonomy. All right, Sagittarius on the 2nd house cusp line. You value traveling and your freedom, your independence. You love learning. You value education, higher learning. Yep. You might be considered wise. You might also believe sometimes that you have the truth, and it's your duty to share it so that everybody can hear your truth, or what you believe is the truth. I'll put it like that. Desire is very strong. You have a lot of really strong Venus energy in this chart if this is you. I mean, you have, wow. Yeah, you have a lot of Venus energy in your chart. Jupiter is your greater benefic, though. And your Jupiter is in Virgo, career and goals and job, healthcare, possibly, because you got Virgo up there at the midheaven. You got Mars in Virgo, too. Oh, you probably totally understood the whole Mars getting busy, physically challenged, using cleaning as an activity, if this is your chart. But that's the chart I'm looking at. So, but yeah, when you have Venus and Mercury together like that, the two sisters in Libra, and the communications with people who are far away, even possibly overseas. But Libra energy is personal relationships, like people we're really committed to and close to, and that we would compromise for. And this can also be business partnerships. Can be institutional energy, governments. It can be kind of like that. That Libra energy can be very artistic in the 12th house. Yep. Venus, Libra wants things beautiful. Oh. 12th house is also a very creative placement. And you have a Libra sun, very creative, can be very harmonious, but you have a 0 degrees sun, which the communication and standing out and how, the way you express can probably be a little extreme at times. Let me see where your other stuff is. Do we have a 0? Yeah, definitely. This can be tricky. You've got, at least in here, we've got the Uranus energy. So there's something about that is sudden, that is quick, that's like a lightning bolt in the way that you express. And that's within significant one-on-one relationships. It is within friends, though. This can, astrology can come up with Uranus energy in the 11th house like this too, with the sun there, group energy, and within streaming and chats and stuff like that, and using technology. And I would love to know, do you have issues with technology? Like, do you find yourself having issues? I mean, Uranus at 29 conjunct your sun, the way I express and stand out, that can be very disruptive. And maybe you've been accused of that, of being disruptive. And there might, and this is like with friends, by the way, group energy, right? Friends, social circles. You have a lot of strong, I'm seeing the number 3 pop up in a lot of places. That's talking and communicating, learning, but my brain and thinking. But you also have some strong Uranus and Aquarius energy too, because that's all in your 3rd house. The mind can be very disciplined and organized in thinking, in terms of organizing my thoughts before I speak. But the Aquarius energy, these people can be super smart, like the rocket scientist energy. And your Mercury, again, like the other chart I looked at earlier, your Mercury is way ahead of your sun. And so people get information ahead of time when their Mercury's ahead of their sun. But it's tricky when your Mercury's in the 12th. I got something else jumping up on the screen here. Hold on a minute. I'm sorry. It's blocking what I'm doing. Okay. Can we get rid of this shit so I can see what I'm looking at? Okay. Thank you. All right. So, yeah, let me stop talking and let me see, because I'm reading a chart that's probably not even yours. And this is why I don't like to read a chart unless I have confirmation that it's yours. Let me go see if she said anything. I could just sit here and be blah, blah, blah. I can't see my chart. Oh, I'm so sorry you can't see the chart. I have been here before. Okay, yes, in whole sign. Okay. I only look at tropical Placidus. Nope, I'm Gemini rising. Oh, I'm glad to see that. Holy shit. Okay, yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. All right, glad. All right, so that was, yeah, I just spent my time reading a chart that wasn't yours. Not a fan of that at all. Okay, so let's get rid of that. And I have to figure out why this chart is wrong and what is wrong about it. And yeah, like what the hell? Let me go back and look at the email and double check. And maybe I punched some stuff in wrong, but I feel like I kept rereading it. September 23rd, 1968, correct? Oh, there's the damn problem. It's on PM instead of AM. Yeah, that would be a huge difference. What the hell? Now let's see what we come up with. Son of a... The shit kept flipping as I was writing in your information. Update the saved chart. There you go. Bingo. We got you now. Son of a bee. Look. Now we got her. Gemini rising. Yeah, I don't know if you're having internet issues or what's going on because yeah. Which I wouldn't be surprised, right? Because you're still going to have your Sun and your Uranus together, which they are in the 4th house, emotions, 5th house cusp line though, but your Sun is in your 4th house in this chart. Okay, interesting. All right, Gemini rising at a critical degree. Yikes. Well, what's kind of convenient about that is that trines your midheaven. Look at that. Woohoo. Midheaven at 29 degrees. See that? That's a nice trine. So your body, your appearance, and you've got so much in air down here in Libra. The Libra stellium is insane. And all this 26, 27, 27, all this trines your midheaven and your ascendant. Oh my God. Please tell me you're into communications or teaching or were. Yeah, because that's, and I know you got Aquarius at the midheaven. So that's technology and science. But it's at an extreme degree. And you know what they say about that extreme degree? They call that the billionaire degree. Do you know how many people's charts I've read? Even people who have 29 degrees in Cancer. And they always chuckle. They're like, yeah, I wish. And what does that teach us? That there's no such thing as I can look at one damn thing on a chart. I can't look at the planet and the sign and the degree and that it tells me, okay, this is you. You have to put it all together in context of the entire chart. That's what it tells us. That we are our entire chart, not just one goddamn thing. Yep. That's what it tells us. So, yeah, there's that Mars down there. Okay, you got Jupiter at 19 and Virgo in the 4th. All right. So the 29 degrees, hands, Gemini energy, communicate. You use your hands when you communicate. Maybe you're doing this all the time. You got a big ass kite too. You see the big kite in this chart? Yeah. Big ass kite. Let me see. Oh, because Saturn and Hermes is part of it. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is kind of tricky. This 29 degrees that you have, that trine, that's nice. That's wonderful. But this Uranus, this disruption shit, it's an exact square to your ascendant and your descendant. So that Uranus, the disruptor, and its technology can be an authority figure in your life, can be youngsters in your life, can be friends and group energy, but can be also be like the dad energy and a boss at the job. It creates stress and tension to your physical body, ascendant, your appearance even, your learning, and your descendant, your partnerships. It's an exact strong T-square there. Now, because you've lived with that your whole life, yeah, by now you're like, yeah, what's new? But your Sun's part of it. And so it has a lot to do with your communication and the way you express. So basically, Uranus and Sun, both authority figures. That energy gets T squared. It's relationships, and it's myself. It's me, the number 1 degree, Aries energy. Stress and tension with the mind and Mercury and the Jupiter energy. So there might be a little bit of confusion. And boy, that's how we started off, isn't it? I would say this is definitely your chart. Because it was quite confusing. You said you were in the chat the whole time, yet you didn't hear us. You didn't hear me. And then when we got you in here, we pulled up your chart, and it wasn't your chart. And, I was looking for confirmation, and there was crickets. Anyway, so this would explain why. Absolutely. It's just an all the time thing. So that requires patience. Absolutely would require some patience. And Uranus isn't really known for patience. I mean, it can be, right? But it's usually like the lightning bolt that comes in. It's the eureka, the aha, the oh my God. You like it just sudden and fast. So it can be tricky. It can be tricky. So that Aquarius on your midheaven, the fact that you've already saw your chart, knew your chart, that makes sense there. That makes sense. So I haven't really looked at your chart for very long, but you said something about so Shell can't see the screen at all? Is that what's going on? Well, that would be a problem. Well, you have Chiron at your midheaven. I mean, and it's right on your midheaven. I'm sorry, midheaven. This is the 11th house. It's right on your 11th house cusp line. That wound I talked about, freedom, body autonomy with friends, having Mars kind of energy up here and wounds up here. These are friends and group energy, social causes for people who literally were in the military is a possibility, or at least friends who are spontaneous, friends who are kind of youthful and might even seem childish in ways. Aries is the baby of the zodiac. So having the Aries in the 11th house of group energy and friends, that could mean that you meet people, you become friends, that you might kind of go through them and fast in a way, because if you're very independent and your friends are very independent, and Aries is very spontaneous, but yet it's not really good for the long haul. It's more like, it loves to start stuff, right? It might even be like, oh, I'm the leader of this group that I'm starting, right? But it might peter out after a while, because once it loses the newness, it's boring then. That's Aries energy. And that's why Aries is spoken about like a child, because it gets bored easily. Yeah, something can become dull really fast with our Aries energy. We have the attention span of a child. And this is for all of us with the Aries energy in whatever location it is in our chart. Yours is with friends. So you either have very physical friends, right? People where we're very physical, we're very, we can be, Mars is a fighter. These people, Mars is angry energy. It's feisty ass energy. Yep. So when somebody has Mars in the 11th and Aries in the 11th, like you do, I know planet Mars isn't here, but I'm saying Mars because I just see Mars when I see Aries energy. Talk about rebellious energy. Oh shit. No one's going to tell these people what to do. And you have Saturn at the freaking Aquarius degree. So what I like about this is I like Saturn in Aries. It truly can discipline the Aryan energy. And it shows that if we stick to it and we are disciplined and we follow the rules, Saturn will reward us in the long haul. And that is decades, by the way. Decades, okay? So because Aries is like a fine wine, it takes a long time to mature and to develop. But Saturn can give rewards and recognition. But again, you have your Saturn at the 23 degrees. That's an astrology degree, just like your midheaven. Aquarius at the midheaven and Saturn at the so work in the seeing patterns even. Yep, astrology. I know you said something earlier. Right. Wishing for the major billionaire degree. Yeah, that's what everybody that I've seen. All right, so you got a moon in Libra. Yep, your moon's right there. So relationships, significant one-on-one relationships is really big because you've got such a huge stellium. And of course, the South Node in freaking Libra. Oh my God. But you do have it at the 9 degree. Wow, you have South Node in Libra, my superpower. At the 9 degrees, that's Jupiter, and that's the justice system. And you have it in Libra, which can be courtrooms and contracts and lawyers. Interesting. And you've got air in your 9th house, too. Significant one-on-one relationships. 5th house of children, fun, joy, and romance. So children are people who are in your life that seem like a child to you in some way, or maybe just simply fun and entertaining. Mixed with that Libran energy of, I don't know. Libra wants things to be beautiful. Venus wants things to be beautiful and harmonious. In the 5th house of creativity and joy. Yeah, really creative energy, Libra in the 5th. More very creative, especially because your moon is there. That's how you feel joy when you're creating. But maybe even in romantic partnerships can do that for you as well. And children. Yeah. Venus and Mercury. I hope you're using your creative powers. Yeah. So you're 29, you're 1 degree of Mars in Libra. I'm sorry, your 1 degree of Mars in Virgo is pretty much, conjunct that 4th house cusp line. So this means in the home, this is a person who's going to be pretty active in the home. You know, these people are constantly cleaning and working, and they've got those to-do lists, the honey-do list, the projects, the tasks, organizing and cleaning. Holy shit, yeah. Virgo in the 4th, you want to piss off this Virgo, move some shit around in their 4th house without them knowing about it. You will hear about it. That is for damn sure. Absolutely. Yeah, that can be, oh, you can see the screen. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. We can look at your chart again. You can come back next week because we end at 11 o'clock. And we can look at it again. And again, anybody who wants me to take deeper dives and looks at their chart, those are people who gift the channel, or I go spend more time on their chart so that they can hear a little bit more. And, you know, especially if they have questions. And those people who gift the channel, I can bring them on literally. They don't have to have their face on, but that way I can have a rapport with them as I'm looking at their chart, like we can actually talk. And I reserve that for people who gift the channel, okay, because it takes up more time to do that. So that's just something to keep in mind, okay, for the future. And we'll stop there. All right. So as a reminder, we do this every Saturday. Okay. If you're new, or if you're you're watching and you haven't done this and you're thinking about doing it, just send an email to me. Okay. Send an email. It's right below in the details under the live stream. If you have a question, you can ask it. We do the private lives. I can give you the details on that because some people aren't comfortable doing on this platform. Some people don't want other people all up in their business. I get it. Limited spaces for the private lives They're the last Saturday of every month. If you want in on that, make sure you send me an email. I can give you the details. And it's done the same way, but the difference is I know who's coming in advance because it's a special link. It's not just thrown together nilly-willy, whoever shows up. It's definitely reserved seating only. Okay, so with that said, if you didn't get your chart looked at tonight and you want to, come on back next week. But please make sure that you get your digits to me before the live stream begins, because then I spend a lot of time creating charts during the live stream. And it's just best not to do that. It's best to use that time reading people's charts. So it was a slow night and we made it through. We got everybody done. Come on back next week, guys. We will see you then. And I think that's it. If there's anybody who I didn't look at, come on back. We will be here. All right, everybody, you take care, stay sane, and remember to find ways to get your Mars aggression and assertive solo activities done. Like, make time for it. Pencil that shit in. All right, take care. Bye-bye. Thank you, Lou.